Welcome to Women at the Top, where we share professional journeys to inspire yours.
Hello, I'm your host, Max Zhang, founder of Human Prosperity. Today, I'm excited to have Audrey on the show to share her professional journey. Audrey, can you introduce yourself?
Hi there, my name is Audrey Dhanani, and I am the Director of Operations here at Bolt Accelerator.
Amazing. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Sure. Here at Bolt Accelerator, I have been coined as the midfielder of the team. I basically ensure that every facet of this company is moving smoothly and that our teams are growing and scaling without breaking.
Yeah, that's definitely important to be able to scale and as the team grow. And some people might not know about Bolt. Can you share a little bit about what
Bolt is? Yeah, so Bolt is a coaching program that we have launched. There are 3 different public tiers. We have a kind of modulated process. And we have a program that's based on video learning, so through module learning. And within those, each video has a resource and a call to action. And then we have a program called Accelerator, which is kind of our bread and butter. And what that one is direct access to our team of experts and our head coach, Barry Hartman. What members come to our business for specifically is junk removal expertise. So we're seeing a lot of junk removal entrepreneurs flood in, coming to us for help to help scale them from, let's say, like 500,000 a year to like $1 million a year, right? We're helping them kind of get past certain hurdles that are kind of common. One that I've seen is like getting from 2 junk removal trucks to 3 is like a big gap that a lot of entrepreneurs will face. So the great thing about Accelerator is not only do you have access to Barry, you have access to our team of experts, me specifically in systems and people. We have our director of marketing, Neil, who is just phenomenal with, let's say, like Google Ads, branding, like you name it. He's your guy. He's your expert in marketing. And then we have a content manager named Connor, who will teach you everything you need to know about content marketing. He actually comes from the film world and worked on Sausage Party of all movies. We have a very strong, robust team here, and through that program specifically, we have a community where all these other entrepreneurs can connect with each other, give each other advice. So kind of like an open forum outside of what they'll get from like Barry on the coaching calls. We have fireside guests. We had Cameron Harold on our calls, who was the COO of 1-800-GOT-JUNK. And then we have just a lot of resources, a lot of like SOPs, templates, types of spreadsheets that will help move people in terms of like revenue and really understanding how to scale their business to the level they'd like to get it to. Outside of those 2 programs, we have a private coaching program, which is more of an exclusive program, I would call it probably. You definitely have to get assessed into that program, but basically it's one-on-one coaching with Barry, specifically for junk removal entrepreneurs. And it is one-on-one, you're doing bi-weekly GSRs with him where he'll set your goals with you, review them with you, and give you personalized coaching along the way. And I have a big part in that. Basically, everything that's happening in the background is me and a team that I'm running. I'm actually growing it right now. So when things move smoothly within Bolt, it's because I'm right there doing what I have to do. Another fun little fact about our team is through the Accelerator program, the 3 of us experts also do a bit of like consulting with our clients. So if someone's having like a team issue, they'll come to me and then we'll hop on a call and talk about how to kind of resolve that team issue or like a system issue, even technology. I'm going to be on a HubSpot project soon. And then, Neil will do marketing, that sort of thing. So it's a very well-rounded program and has received a great visibility to the junk removal industry.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. And definitely. I mean, like entrepreneurs can get all needs all the help that they can get. It's hard to actually start your own business. And especially one that you want to actually scale, because there's just so many things you can do. So it's great that your company offers all those kind of services. And of course, you can never forget about the people behind the scenes. So I mean, like you. I mean, like a lot of people just see the star in the front, but it's the bad people in the back doing the hard work to getting things running smoothly. Those are the amazing people. Then he has some lights to shine on. So for all these amazing things you're doing, people that kind of wonder, how did you get to where you are today, and how could they get to where you are?
Yes, so kind of a wild card journey for me personally. I started off pretty young. By 20, I was a manager in retail, and I kind of gained that experience over time of like managing a team and understanding how things work within a business model from a very young age. And I actually had that experience in Beverly Hills because I'm originally from Los Angeles. So when you're working in a big city like that, it looks different. It feels different. The weight of it is different. So being a manager in retail, like specifically on Rodeo Drive, is like a very different weight that you have to wear. So every day you're coming fully dressed, you're buying the nice dresses, you're wearing what you're selling, like you're marketing in every facet of life. So I learned very early on kind of that self-branding piece of like being in a leadership role and like understanding the value of being a true leader in what you're doing, even retail, right? So eventually, though, through my college education, I did become an educator for kindergartners for 4 years. And I mention this because although it's not directly linked to operations, there is no other more chaotic operation than teaching a kindergarten class. And it has taught me a level of resilience and patience that has been carried through with me to all my other experiences. So having that experience, creating an entire training system for new educators that came in for 9 different schools was really cool. It taught me that I was an innovator and that when I set my mind on something, I can build the systems for it. So I built a training system for a whole school district of educators. And then following that experience, I left and went into insurance. Of all things, I was an agent. So I basically ran all sales, all service. It was like I was an entrepreneur in a sense, because I'm carrying along that piece of like self-branding from like the retail management, where it's like, I'm going to these expos, I'm going to this networking events, and I'm selling my policies through my agency. So that was really beneficial to me, to understanding that aspect of it, and getting into the minds of entrepreneurs today. And then, various different levels of experience. I did end up eventually at a steel company. And when I was at the steel company, I got into operations. So this was back in 2022. And in operations, I was responsible for making sure that the production line was moving smoothly. So I was a very important player, right? But still kind of in the background. No one knows I'm this person tinkering in the background, playing with all the numbers. Well, the numbers were great. They were successful, but they weren't as efficient as a color coding system, which I actually brought in from kindergarten, from teaching kindergarten. So I implemented a color coding system into this business, and the headquarters corporate came and they were like, who did this? Why is this line running so smoothly? And here I am. I've only been working there for 4 months at this point. And they're like, it's Audrey. Like, she's the one who, created a smoother line. And because the line became so smooth, I ran out of work. But it was okay. I mean, it just taught me that I needed more projects. I need more responsibility. And it was fun to be at a specialist level, but I needed to, go and see where I would actually land. So eventually that led me to Chops, which was my work before where I am today. And Chops is where I actually grew into the director role. While I was at Chops, I helped bring our revenue up so much. So it was a startup. They'd only been going for, I think, a few months to up to a year. And I came in, we had a team of 4. I grew it to 11 myself through hiring efforts. And I also brought in an enormous amount of sales while I was there, major projects, but that I had to leave that work environment. I wanted to be there so much because it was an all women's team. And I really believed in that. And I was so enthused about, hey, I'm working with all women. Most of us are moms. Some of us have dogs. It's just cute. And unfortunately, no matter how many systems and how much growth I was giving to this business, I had to leave. And then eventually I came here to Bolt, where it was just an immediate culture match, which is so funny because I'm on a team of boys. They're all men and I'm the only woman on the team, but it is so compatible and seamless and cohesive. And I'm just so happy with this team, and we run it. We're just a strong team together. So yeah, that's kind of how I landed here, is just various pockets of random experience and just finding ways to kind of cross-pollinate experiences from different industries and finding efficiencies from those opportunities.
That's amazing. And yeah, definitely. A lot of times, we just, not sure if we can do something. The thing is, once you actually set your mind on it and set your focus, and you find that, oh, wow, I can do this. And amazing things happen when you actually, focus on and believe in yourself. So another thing that you kind of mentioned is diversity, the actually bringing diverse perspective from very different places, and especially even from the elementary school, kindergarten, things like that. Even kids, they can teach us so many different things.
Oh, yes.
And the key is, really about bringing different perspectives, different ideas from very different places. And that's when you can have the best and most amazing ideas. And of course, having a diverse team within the workplace that's what makes it so powerful. I mean, having, different gender, different races, the more difference you have, more diversity you have, more ideas you have, the more amazing your company can grow.
Yes, I completely agree with that. And if I can just comment to that, when I was at Chops, I actually put in the effort of growing our team out of what it looked like, where it was just women and a certain demographic of women. And I started bringing in men that were from different cultures and different women from different cultures. And it just became, and this is a big thing for someone like me from Los Angeles. I grew up in a very diverse community where I felt like a minority within my environment. So if I see a lack of diversity, like you're saying, where it's like bring in different cultures, bring in different genders, it's like I'm 100% behind that. And it's been a big part of my team I'm currently growing. In fact, the 2 women I'm bringing on are going to make our team more woman-based. And, they come from different cultures separately from each other and then from me. And I'm so about that because there's so much you could even learn just from various cultures, right? Like, what can I learn from this culture that can impact our business and how we're working as a team, or how this system can be better? Like, you want that information.
Yeah, 100%. So I kind of want to know more about what you do. So in terms of being a director of operations, tell us a little bit more about what are some of the things you do and how do you become good as a director of operations?
Yes, I know this is very ambiguous for me because I do pretty much everything, and it's hard for me to kind of just dial it down. So when I say midfielder, as what I'm coined, it's truly the case. And I'm not entirely in the background. Outside of our head coach, our members are very aware of who I am. They will come to me with questions. They'll send me emails. I get thank you emails. I'm so grateful for that they all recognize the work that I'm doing. So, okay, what are the buckets that I'm directly overseeing? So I directly right now have a hand in sales and business development for our team. So efforts around bringing in new members, I'm there for it. Networking events, stuff like that, I'm involved. Outside of that, so that's not so much in the background, right? And then outside of that, financial management. So although I'm not in the controlling position as the CEO is, I do a lot of the financial coordination that's directly correlated to his efforts. So that's making sure certain things are getting paid, certain, invoices are going out. Like, there's kind of that, that kind of process right there. Outside of that, it would be our tech stack specifically. So one of my favorite things that I do is I audit our tech stack and I ensure that it's working optimally. So what that basically means is I hop into the system and I see what are the features of our subscription that we're using? How are we using it? Is it effective? What's our ROI? I want to know what our ROI is of using this technology. If we're not using every single feature, we need to cut that down, right? How can we cut our losses here, and how can we save money in order to maybe put those funds somewhere else? So just recently, I looked at a contract that we had, looked at all the features, and looked at how we're using it, especially because I directly oversee how our systems work. And I made the call. I said, we're going to move our subscription to this other bucket, right? I'll even say this if we need to go up, like we need more features, we're going up, right? But this one, I was like, we're not using all of this. This is all just noise. We're going to go to here. I saved our company just with that one program, $22,000 for the year, which is big for just one program. So, and I get on these calls with whoever is a representative of any software we're using. And I'm very real with them. I'm like, we're not using this. This is, how can you make us use it? And influence me, convince me why this should be important to me. Oftentimes, because of my knowledge in software, usually what I think we should do usually is the case. A lot of it is, and then data tracking. So I have a dashboard of metrics. I'm looking at our retention. I'm looking at our growth rate. I'm looking at net promoter scores, right? I'm sending out surveys and making sure clients are happy. I'm setting up new software. So I just set up Notion for our team and I created a form through it and landing pages and different things that, so basically if you throw it at me, I will probably be able to do it. That is kind of the role I feel like I'm in. Soon I will be on a call as well where we do fireside chats with our experts. So I'm going to be hopping on a fireside chat and I will be the expert on, scaling your teams while not breaking your systems, because it's a big part of like how my brain operates with Bolt is how can we continue to grow as a company, and how can we ensure that our team is healthy through that process. It's honestly, Max, very ambiguous. It's very hard for me to even piece together. I have prompted AI. I'm like, AI, you know everything about me. What do I do? And they're like, you're a chief. I'm like, I am a director, but can you tell me what do I do? How do I make this concise? And I can never truly find a concise answer. So I apologize for the long-winded. And that's probably not even everything for you either. So I'll have to figure it out.
Yeah, that's amazing, and it's definitely a lot of things we do. I mean, that's what's necessary to be at a director level. So for someone that's actually at the manager level or operations specialist, what other things do they need to do in order to get to your level?
Yes. So I have noticed, since we're talking EQ, it's a mindset thing. When you're at a specialist level, you're learning basically the foundational level of how something works. You have that newest knowledge, the most fresh knowledge of how things are working and how A plus B equals AB, right? So I'll talk about how it worked for me. So I was in a specialist level, and going into my interview for CHOPS specifically, I went into that role as an operations manager. So that was my initial move in. And my mindset was, I am exhausted by doing day-to-day operations. I know I'm bigger than day-to-day operations. I am completely capable of innovating new systems, of bringing in new ideas, of showing, the qualitative and quantitative measures of the success of what I'm doing. So let's do it, right? And so I landed that job just kind of showing my tenacity, showing my mindset of I can go above where I'm at. So just give me the chance of going above where I'm at. And I went into the role and I did exactly that. I took over all team management from her and started to run the whole entire team. And then I started to implement new processes into the company that made things move smoother. So she was like, okay, now things are moving so smoothly and things are so fast that we can grow our team. So grow our team. I was like, great, I'm going to grow our team. But then if I grow our team, I can't have 10 different people reporting to me. So I need managers. So that means I need to become the director. How do I prove to you that I'm director level? So you have that conversation, right? It's a lot of transparency. It's a lot of shooting straight and like, where are my goals? KPIs are a huge thing. And for anyone in any position, I highly recommend having a document of your wins and your measurable outcomes. What was your win? How did it impact the company, right? Especially as a woman, right? Because we can talk numbers too. So you need to have your wins, what you're doing. And so I showed her all this information. I was like, what are your goals for me in this role? How can I show you this is where I need to go? So we talked about it. We came to a conclusion with each other. We wrote a whole JD around it. And then I started to grow 2 departments underneath me, an operations department and a marketing department. Now, CHOPS was specifically a consulting company. So I was overseeing consultants and consulting projects. So we had an operations consulting team and we had a marketing team. Marketing is a little bit more obvious, operations again, so ambiguous, but mostly it's technology, it's processes, and it's team. So I ran these teams, kept it seamless, and then I grew out a 3rd department. I grew out sales. She saw, okay, she's bringing in a lot of revenue. At one point, I believe I brought in, from my own efforts of sales, because this is something I'm natural. I think it's from my experience in insurance and retail. Within 6 weeks, I believe I brought in $150,000 to the company, just within six weeks time, right? So this is a lot for a startup level little company that's trying to get their name out there, right? We're not a big Coca-Cola. We're not corporate. We were little guys, right? And I went out there and I found these big companies and I said, you need to choose us. I sold us, right? And we ran our projects for them, both on the operations and marketing team. And through these systems that I built as a director there, specifically, marketing and operations had more clarity. They weren't getting in each other's way anymore. There was no more like, what are you doing? What am I doing? Funk, you know what I mean? They finally had their own managers. They had their own specialists. They had cohesion between these 2, levels of work that we're doing, 2 facets. So coming into Bolt specifically, surprise, surprise, I wanted to just find a place where the culture was there because I felt I didn't have the culture at CHOPS. So I found the culture at Bolt, came in as an EA to the CEO, learned everything the CEO knows, everything. He taught me everything he knows. I told him everything I know. We gave each other a lot of really good transparency and information. We made some really good choices together. And then over time, he was like, you're a director. Like, you are meant to be a leader. And I was like, yes. So we wrote a JD together too. And he's like, okay, now I want you to grow a team underneath you. I said, I will do that. Absolutely. 100%. And now it's to the point where I'm running meetings. I am growing a team. I'm, building out what, who needs to do what. So it's a lot of orchestrating in this role, right? And finding sense in chaos, which is a big part of what being a kindergarten teacher teaches you. You certainly need to have the ability to organize, to becoming clear with what your goals are, becoming clear about how you feel about yourself, because I think a big part of why people don't grow from specialists to leaders specifically is probably the imposter syndrome, right? Like, I've never done this, so I can't do it. But that's the whole thing about having courage and taking risks, right? It's, well, maybe I haven't done that yet, but I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to put my name out there and I'm going to see the reception that I get. Hey, I think I'm supposed to be in this role. How can I prove that to you? Hey, I think I'm going to look at all my wins. These are all my wins. Do you see them? Look, there's numbers. Now, where do you think I should land now? And have that very real conversation. Not a lot of people are direct, confrontational. I am a bit more of those things, but if you can lay things out clearly, people will believe in your vision because they can see it clearly, right? So specialist to director, it's you have the wheel. You set your path. You show that vision to whoever your manager is, whoever is leading you, you make that clear for them. And I do recommend along the way to have mentors and have coaches and to have a counselor and have people who are there to also remind you, you got this. You can grow into any level you want to be at. Just, it's mindset ultimately, and applying skills, really trying for it.
Definitely, and that's amazing transition. And so I mean, in general, it has to do with the expanding out from your expertise. One word to describe is depth. As a specialist, you have depth. But then you want to actually go to a leadership or a director level and things like that, you will need to have a breadth that can expand out to different areas of responsibility. And but at the same time, ultimately, they also have to have that vision, that direction. And of course, you can never forget about collaboration. It's so important, and that's what brings everything together. And as a director, that is one of the key skills that you have to have. Being able to influence and able to get people to collaborate closely.
I love this. You should write my resume for me, Max.
Sure thing. Okay, so that was amazing. And in order to get those amazing things, sometimes we have to go through a lot of challenges. Can you share us about some of the challenges that you have went through?
When I was so young, I do want to talk about kind of that beginning period, because I do believe it plays a major piece in my tenacity today. And what I mean by that is, when I was 20 years old and I was figuring things out and I was working on Rodeo Drive and I was, putting myself through college, that was the reality. I was putting myself through college. I was working, I was dressing, like, I was not living within my means for sure to dress in those clothes because I was taking care of myself. I had no one. I had to do it all alone. I didn't have any parents involved through this process. They were off doing their own things, I don't even know. They were not involved. I had a random letter every once in a while from my mom, but no real true support of my journey that I was going through at that point in my life when I was 20 years old. And I was finally figuring out how to make a space in the world for myself. And through that process, I was couch surfing. I was sleeping on people's couches. I was cleaning my friends' parents' houses' bathrooms so I could sleep in their room with them, have a bed to sleep in with my friend. Luckily, I had a lot of really good friends. I'm really good at friends. A friendship is something that I pride myself in. I'm a good friend. So I was able to find places to stay with friends and show their parents, look, I'm worth helping. I will help you if you help me. So what does that look like? So there's that piece of let's barter a little bit here, right? So how can I sleep in this house, right? And then I'll clean your bathrooms. I will clean the kitchen. I'll help cook meals. I will add to this household while doing all that, while trying to figure out where I'm going to sleep. I wasn't eating much. I'd eat a sleeve of crackers a day because I couldn't afford it. because I had to afford the clothes in order to work where I was and to make my space. Also, college. I went to Santa Monica College, just right there in the heart of LA. While I was going through that process, I was on the president's list. I was on the honor society. I was being called to tutor other students because I brought in tenacity. I belong here was always kind of my mindset wherever I was. Having that mindset from a young age and it being such a big part of everything I was doing, I believe has a big impact on how I was able to navigate various industries where I would show up. At one point, believe it or not, I was a legal secretary. I don't even know how I got there. I have no experience in law, but I showed up and I was like, I am great at computers. And they were like, you're hired. And so they put me into this like seasonal role at the law firm. And I did what I had to do while I was there, and then it was done. And I did that while I was teaching, surprisingly. And I ran myself into the ground to make something of myself. And even kind of fun fact about me here is like through all of these like professional goals and these educational goals and finding a place to be where I could sleep, like I didn't actually get my own place where like I had people renting rooms in the same home as me until I was about 20, I was 23 years old. It took me 3 years to finally figure out how to get myself get under a roof that's my own, and that I could have roommates and that I could be okay. And I had my own car, and, my car was always, it's just so bad. During all of this, I was also modeling, and you wouldn't even know it that I was modeling at the same. So sometimes I was up until 4 a.m. doing modeling projects. And then at 7 a.m. I'm at the school and I'm doing teaching. And then after that, I'm going and spending some late afternoons at the law office. You know what I mean? I was like running myself into the ground for years. I did the modeling thing, for 10 years. So it didn't end until I was about 28 years old. And so tenacity, I think, is a big part of getting past those challenges to understand, like, you have to believe in yourself. And I think even to this day, like I don't have family in my life. And the family that I do have is fortunately through my husband. And the people that I have from his family that are very close to me, I absolutely love them. And I'm so grateful for these relationships. But it has taught me how capable I am of standing alone. And I think when you're in a leader position, 100%, I'm all about collaboration. I'm all about being a part of the team. I'm all about the collective mindset. It's huge for me. But I also believe that when you're in a leader position, you have to make hard choices. And in order to make hard choices, you have to be able to stand alone. There's something that Brene Brown says where it's, you have to be able to stand alone in order to belong. And I truly believe in that. You have to be who you are truly to the core. And a lot of that for me is tenacity. And a lot of that for me is like, I will get it done, right? And then belong, right? And I wasn't belonging in my most recent, when I was at CHOPS, I was not belonging. It was not received well, the way that I operate as a person. But I come here and I belong. I am still me. I stayed true to me. I did not try to fit in to where I was. I left. And I found my culture piece that I was missing. I now belong. And now there's this community where like even my husband and my daughter are like thought of. Or like, how's your husband doing? How's Shaq? How's your daughter? Like everybody's like, how's your life? Right. And so like, I think, so when it comes to challenges, it's more about how you overcome them. And how you stay true to your values when those challenges come along, no matter where they're coming from, and loving yourself so wholly, so deeply that whatever process, whatever challenge you're in, you don't crumble. You don't need the external validation. You just need to continue to move, and the right people will eventually start to collaborate with you.
Yeah, 100%. It's never about where you start. Just keep on trying, keep on failing, and keep on learning. And tenacity, as you said, is key to that. If you just give up on the first try, you're not going anywhere. So that tenacity to actually keep on trying no matter what. And definitely second on the authenticity, being true to yourself. Because a lot of times, even myself, sometimes a long time ago, I wasn't myself. I feel like I was ripping myself apart in some ways, like the feeling of you being ripped apart. And that's what's like when you're not being able to be yourself. And but once you are able to be yourself and be able to 100% be yourself and just have a congruence about everything you do, magic happens.
I agree with that. Thank you for sharing that with me, Max.
Since you have done so many things, I'm sure there's also a lot of daily habits that you do or other things that allows you to achieve this level of performance. So what are the secrets to your performance.
We're getting tactical here now. Okay, so calendar management, being on top of your calendar and treating, okay, so number one, be on top of your calendar. So Acaflow is the app that I use for my calendar management. It's phenomenal. If no one's, I promise this isn't, I'm not paid for this, but Acaflow is like just number one for me. I have tried other calendar management apps, but I keep coming back to Acaflow. I love the slot option because it allows me to put my tiny tasks into my big task, my big project, right? You can just move it along your calendar if you don't get it all done. So it's a phenomenal calendar management app. And I ensure that my personal life is also managed kind of like a business. So what that means is, you know, my husband and I, we have a weekly meeting where we talk about like our wins, like our like things that frustrated us, and then like ways we dealt with it, and like room for advice, right? And then we talk about our finances, and then we look at the calendar and we go, okay, what do we need to put on our calendars? And our calendars are like, they're going to look a little, of course, it's a calendar, but we sync them so we can see what's going on, who's doing what, where I need to be, where he needs to be. We're both leaders in our industries, so it's very important for us to have organization through our family life, especially as we juggle all the opportunities we want to give to our daughter. I would say calendar management is number one. Find a way with everything you're doing that feels big to coordinate it. So what that means is my email inbox is wild. I'm like, oh my goodness, woo, every morning. That's a whole hour of work right there is how I feel when I see it. I use color coordinated labels, right? Like this goes here. This is this part of the business. This is this part of business. Now, to be a director of operations here, it's like I have every single folder. I even have stuff for marketing. I'm like, this goes into marketing. This goes into content. This goes in. So I'm like putting things into folders, and then I'm prioritizing. So a great way that I suggest anyone start to prioritize things if they haven't figured it out yet is using the Eisenhower matrix. It is 100% like battle-proof, amazing, will get you through what do I need to do first, right? And so I sometimes use that with my emails where I look at things, I'm like, is that urgent? Yeah, but is it super important? No. Okay, we're going to give it an hour and I'll respond, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like you have to look at things and figure out where they fit in this matrix of 4 different options and then put them in that level. So outside of the color coordinated labels, I will star things. I will put an exclamation mark on things. You know, I have the little options to use like stars and stuff like that. So I'll use that process as well. And I'm a big supporter of colors, I guess. And just like making sure that you're able to observe, not absorb, right? I think as professionals, we forget that. A lot of us we look at the work ahead of us and we go, oh, and we feel like there's so much I have to do, and you're like in it and it feels sticky. So it's being able to get out of it, right? And to go, okay, this can wait, this can go over here, this can go. And I think that also is what will dictate the difference between, you know, someone who has tenacity and efficiency over someone who's just day-to-day operations, right? That's a big thing for me. Another one I just want to say, because I feel like this one's so important, it's more about your personal life. Pin the people in your phone that you love the most. Pin them and mark them as unread until you've sent them a message for the week. I love my relationships so much. I love my people so much. I will mark them unread, and I will be sure to either send them a voice note or send them a text and let them know, like, this is my update. What's going on with you? How are you feeling? Like anything. I thought of you. I did this thing. I have a best friend of 20 years. We have an ongoing joke about chapstick. And so I sent her a little reminder. Hey, every time I put chapstick on, I say lip chapstick, which is a joke from when we were teenagers, because I couldn't say it right back then. And we were laughing so hard when I had that moment where I just stumbled over my words. And when like that moment is just such a glimmer. So I sent it to her to bring her a little bit of joy in the week, because she means so much to me. So make sure you are prioritizing your relationships. You're marking them unread in your phone, whatever you need to do to ensure that your work's getting done and at an efficient, your relationships. Think of them also as like, I need to prioritize, I need to mark them and make sure that I'm getting to them. It's about being accountable in the end.
Definitely. Relationship, that is ultimately what matters in what we do. And in terms of efficiency, it's definitely always about scheduling and just prioritization. So once you actually have prioritized on the top item, focus on the top item, that's it. You're getting the most bang for your buck. So what about other dimensions in terms of, how do you take care of yourself, mentally and also physically in order to achieve the high performance that you do?
Personally, I have what Kelly McDaniel, a psychologist, would call third-degree mother hunger. So basically, it means that I've gone through quite heavy levels of trauma through my relationship with my mother. And so I'm constantly healing that. I'm constantly looking at it, I'm sitting with it, and I'm constantly going, okay, how can I make sure I'm okay through feeling those things when they come up, right? I'll hear like a song, Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, and every single time I'm just like in tears. And it's kind of my measurement of like how much I've healed from what I've been through, right? So I read a lot. So a lot of books, a lot of books for my personal stuff, right? My trauma, just my kind of general pain of things that come up, things that I need to be more aware of. I'm always looking, accountability is a huge theme word for me. So I'm always looking for ways to be accountable. So I'm reading books, I'm learning how to be a better person. I'm learning how to observe more. I have a counselor and she's I love her to pieces. She's phenomenal. She's truly invested in me and how I'm doing. And you need to feel that from your counselor. And I'm so grateful for my counselor. So I meet with my counselor at least 3 times a month because she's just so important to me and how I'm feeling and the space that I need to be heard truly, right? And as you can see, I need a lot of space to be heard because I'm very chatty. I have a mentor and I'm so grateful for this mentor. She's a VP of operations, and she heads one of the biggest operations in Vancouver. And I'm not going to say it on here, but I'm like, so like, oh my gosh, like I was like fangirling the first time I met her. I was like, I'm so honored, right? I was just like, this is so amazing. So she's been helping me understand what I can do, especially as a woman in the workplace. And I really need that when you're working with like a band of men. You're like, okay, I need a girl who can hear me. I need a woman who can hear me and hear me as a professional. So she's been phenomenal for me. And I would say outside of that, I used to be very physically active as a mother. It's not as, I don't have a lot of flexibility with that right now, with getting rest and being able to do all the activities. I can say with confidence that I can lift up 30 pounds with one arm. So I know I'm still strong. It's a little joke for you. And then I would say another thing that keeps me healthy is prioritizing not only all my relationships, but my marriage. A healthy, happy marriage is going to, if you're in a marriage, is going to have a large impact on the professional that you are, the person that you are, and everything else, because that's your main relationship. And my relationship with my husband it spans from like a best friend to like all of it. He's my person. People say they're daddy's girls. I'm a husband's girl. I'm fully a husband's girl because he takes such good care of me and he knows I'm fiery and I'm loud and I'm this and that. And he just holds me and he makes sure I'm good all the time. And so I would say he's a big part of my ability to do what I can do every day and to feel confident. And our little daily phone calls especially are so important to me. So it's just making sure you're okay. And periodically I'll go and see like a medium or a healer or something and see what they have to say. And I want to hear it and I want to know, and I'll read some oracle cards. So I think what's most important is doing the activities that light you up as a person when you can, and finding the professionals and the relationships that believe in you and that see you. Don't go to someone just because they're a professional. Go to them also because they're actually invested. And I feel like I found that in the people that I'm seeing, and they want to meet with me. You know what I mean? And they're asking me really clarifying questions where I feel like Audrey matters. Right? In the grand scheme of things. I think that's really important to feel.
Yeah, 1000%. That you always want to talk with people that really cares about you, because if they don't care about you, there's nothing there.
It's what are you doing? Where are we going?
And it's so super important to actually seek out for help, because a lot of times we think that we can just do everything by ourselves. The thing is, we cannot. Because we're not experts in everything, in business, in life, in mindset, and everything else. And all those things, there's so many other experts that can help you move needles, move so far ahead. Mm-hmm. And so important to be okay with seeking those help and be okay with asking for help. It's great that you have so many people helping you, and I can see that's why how you become so amazing.
Thank you, Max. That's such a big compliment. I love that.
So one last question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What is next for you? What is your dream?
I know from this team that we have that, and the team that we're bringing on, that I'll be directly overseeing. I'm so excited. I just have to tell you, I'm so excited for these ladies to come on board. I'm just so stoked with the way that they are. They're just phenomenal. I'm so excited. I know we're going to go far. This company is going to go far, but I want to talk about what actually drives that. And it's my family. My biggest dream is that we eventually have freedom to spend a lot of time with our daughter, see her go the extra mile. I always make the joke that my daughter is a future CEO. Now, if she's not a CEO, it's perfectly fine, but she is spicy and strong-willed and power and loving. She's a mismatch of all the good things that I feel like I'm just so excited to see in her. My husband and I are just we're very dedicated to the work we're doing, being directly correlated to the love and the vision that we have for our daughter to grow up and be a happy and kind person. That's what we want more than anything. We want her to grow up and be happy. That is number one. And to be a kind person, because you want to spread joy, right? So we prioritize that so much. So my dream is her. My dream is my daughter. And it's her future. And that drives everything else I'm doing. Ultimately, it's not about me in the end, right? I think once you become a mother, some of us are wired to feel like I'm doing this for my kid rather than I'm doing this for me. And of course, the day-to-day of feeling what I'm doing and the results that I get feels so good. It feels so great. But that means I get to go and pick up my daughter and go, yeah, good to see you. And she runs to me and she hugs me and we have all this energy and I get to give her that energy and she's giving me her energy and I'm bringing that energy for her. And that's ultimately what I think is a big part of my dream, is just continuing to be that kind of mother that at the end of the day, it's about her.
Yeah, that's amazing. And definitely, so nowadays we focus so much on success and money, and we forget about happiness. And, at the end of the day, that's what truly matters. And, if we'd be great, if happiness becomes the new currency of the world.
That'd be amazing.
So thank you for sharing your professional journey to inspire us.
For listening, and hope that inspired you to reach the top. To get some help, check out our free services at humanprosperity.io.